All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. All right, going to do a video today on shotgun split back stuff and why I think it's advantageous to an offense to use split backs if you have the right personnel. Make sure you check out some of our partners, Game Strat, sideline replay system that we use. We absolutely love it. Dome Hats, which is the headwear sponsor for Play Fast Football in the school I'm currently at. This is one of my original Dome, established in 2006. This is originally one of my Dome hats. All right, so great company. Make sure you check them out. Custom hats, the ability to build your own hat. Phenomenal work by two former Florida Gator football players. Make sure you check them out. Baker Sporting Goods, local sporting goods company that does all of my Spirit Pack gear, all my coaches' gear, provides all our uniforms. Anytime we can put together a store for fans or parents or players, they do our online store, so make sure you check out Baker Sporting Goods. Difference USA, the ultimate striking machine. We have one in our weight room that we use in the off-season. Get thousands of reps, elbows in, thumbs up. Don't have to worry about having a partner. It's hooked up, all right, on our squat racks, so we're working on hips and explosion and striking, so make sure you check out Difference USA. HighandTight, which is a football training aid that teaches you the proper points of pressure to hold the football where it needs to be. You hear an auditory beep if you're doing it correctly. If you don't hear the beep, you don't have the ball held correctly, so it builds that muscle memory into exactly where the wrist needs to be, exactly where the forearm, elbow need to be, exactly where the ball needs to be pressed high and tight to the chest. JustPlayFB, which is the digital software that I use when I'm doing stuff for my website or webinars. I speak at clinics. I use JustPlay as a diagram tool. It's also a powerful presentation for your players, a way to educate your players on game plans and playbooks and other things. So make sure you check out JustPlayFB. So today I want to look at the advantage of gun split backs. Most of you that have followed me for a little while now, if you've been a subscriber for a while, you know that my favorite personnel group is 20 personnel. Twins open, or 11 personnel wide off. All right, playing with twins open and having two backs in the backfield, with one of them being that sniffer or that wide off guy. All right, that's always been one of my favorite personnel groups, one of my favorite formations to use. I've done videos on if I only had one formation to play with, that might be the one. I've done videos on tempo and speed ball and different tempo deals and why I like this personnel group. When you look at it, the thing about it is it gives me, for what I like to do on offense, it gives me what I feel like is the entire package from that group. So it gives me the ability to be a gap scheme team. It gives me the ability, if I wanted to be a zone or a duo, the way we used to run our duo scheme. It gives me the ability to be a split flow team. It gives me the ability to have lead runs. It gives me the ability to have ISO runs. It gives me the ability to wham somebody. I can move that guy because he's off the ball. I can move him around, and whether it's post-snap, pre-snap, motions, trades, post-snap movement for split flow or bootlegs or RPOs. So there's so many things that I think you can get to. I can still get 3 out to the front side. I could possibly get 4 out to the front side if I wanted to, and 1 on the back side and overflow the front side. I could get 3 out front side, 2 on the back side. I could go to 7-man play action shots and keep both backs in. For me, I just feel like the way I want to play football, that it provides me with everything I want within a formation. The problem I ran into after a while was a lot of our stuff became sniffer tendency oriented. So I used to run OF counter or GF counter, however you want to look at it. I would pull the guard and the sniffer on a counter play. Became a tendency. We were a power team. The sniffer would stay front side. Power read, the sniffer would arc release. So a lot of things we were doing other than some of our split flow stuff. And then we started running tackle wrap dart plays that were a little bit tendency breakers. We tried to run some outside runs with the sniffer going away. So we tried to get into a system where we were breaking those tendencies, because we knew after a while that a lot of people were keying and building game plans around the sniffer, where he was, the sets he was in, and what he was doing post-snap. We had some teams that actually fit their second-level players off the sniffer because we were so sniffer heavy. So for me, if you have the right personnel, the ability to be a split-back team now kind of takes some of those tendencies away from the defense. If you had, for argument's sake, 2 tailbacks that could both carry the ball, could both run inside and outside, and could both block. Outside of the number of times you run the ball to the right or the left, strong or weak, field or boundary, you're going to take away the tendency for the defense to either line up to or key one of those individual backs, all right, because it's not a sniffer. It's not that up back. It's not that Y off. So if they try to set the front one way or the other, it's hard to do when it's split back. So now they got to determine, do they want to set the front to a certain back? If you have the ability to play the backs on both sides, if they were equal per se. All right, if you had the ability to balance that out, what would happen is you're going to break tendencies while still being able to do almost all the things that you want to do. So if we looked at the counter world, and we lived this year, did a really good job, my offensive coordinator this year did a really good job with GT counter. If you lived in a GT counter world, either way you wanted to run it. So right now, let's not worry about whether we run it strong, we run it weak. It's not a game plan thing. I'm just trying to show you we could do it either way. If we wanted to run, let's say GT counter weak, triple option strong, we can run a GT counter scheme to where we run our normal counter scheme with a kick and a wrap. There's our counter player. We take that tailback and we make him the triple option player. So we can run GT and we can run it as an option theory. We can run GT and we could split flow it, and we could put, all right, we could zip the backside of the GT with that other tailback. So we could zip the backside of the GT, and now instead of reading it, it could be something, if we really wanted to be given, it could be an automatic give. We're still blocking GT, we're still running GT. We could zip the backside now, and we could make it a normal seal by the fullback or a backside cutoff block if he was a Y off or somebody like that. Just look at it as blocking, kicking, zipping the backside, not reading it. All right, we could take that other back and we could bluff the backside. So now we could go like we're going to zip the backside and go to a potential scrape exchange or anything like that, and now the quarterback could read it. So now we could have a QB read with a lead blocker. So now we could get into a situation where we have QB lead with, or a QB read off a defensive end with a lead blocker. We could take that guy and put him in the flat, and now we could get out here and in a slip scenario or a sneak scenario, and now we could run GT as an RPO with that old-fashioned behind the line flat route, and now we could block those two and sneak it back out into the flat, and we could read off the defensive end, depending on how they were playing the counter, what they were doing. We could read off defensive end and try and sneak that player into the flat. So we could run it as a bash theory and bring this back across the face and run QB counter weak with a bash read on the front side. So now we could run it as a bash theory. So within those split backs, off the GT counter scheme, we've got so many built-in things that we can do off of the split backs. We're not really losing a lot of our offense. We're still able to run the things that we want to run. We're just doing it by possibly being able to hopefully alleviate some of the tendencies. When you get into the passing game, like I said, when you get into the drop back passing game, I now have the ability, if I want, I can push this back here. And right away, I have read away from Mike stuff. I could see what the rotations are. I could have RPOs or quick throws built in off a stick game or simple games like that based off what the rotation is. I can get three receivers strong. I can leave this back in to protect wherever I want it to protect. If I wanted to, I could possibly get to a scenario where if I push this back, I could get this back out as well and get to 4 strong. All right? I could release the front side back if I wanted and leave the back side back for 2-man games on the backside. I could get 5 out if I could protect it and they didn't send more than 5. So in the passing game, I can still get everything that I want. All right. I think in the run game, I would probably lose the ability to run regular traditional power because I don't like a kick block from here. I think it's going to get spilled, almost every time on the front side. I'm okay with a kick. If I was a zone team, I'm okay with a split zone theory. I'm okay with this block here with him doing that. But as far as a front side power theory, I don't think I like a front side power theory from that depth with those blocks. So, to me, what I would do is if I wanted to be a power team, I'd run this power read. And now I would just, again, run it as a power read theory. And now I've got my power theory with the ball possibly going to the perimeter. So, absolutely, I could do any of those things at any time that I wanted to. I've got 7-man protection shots built in. If I wanted to take 7-man protection shots, I could very easily slide the line one direction. So I could move the line one direction here. I could put the back up there with a back there. All right, I could take 7-man shots. Now I got that built in. I still have quick game built in. So to me, that personnel group is one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite to play in. I think it's diverse. I think it's multiple. But now when you add in the ability to be split back and not sniffer orientated, if you have two really good backs, I think you just get into a world of a lot of great situations. I've seen Oklahoma from this personnel group run some deals where they get a lead blocker, so I've seen them run some dark type deals, all right, where they've been here, double, here, he's going there, he's going to the perimeter, that guy's running a dark play, and they're reading off the backside, doing some different things. So there's so many different things you can do out of the split back set, but the biggest thing for me, coming from being hurt by it before, is it alleviates that tendency that you get into having that sniffer or that Y off guy. You still probably want to carry those packages. I'm not saying this is everything you would do or I would do. You still want to carry some of those packages, but you get yourself into a split back world where you can do all the things that you want to do the way you want to do them, true to your two-back nature, and now get in a situation where you don't have as many tendencies. So anytime you can break tendencies as an offensive guy, anytime you can get away from them saying, hey, 80% of the time the ball goes to this back or to this tight end or three-man surface or field boundary, right, left, strong, quick. Anytime you can break up some tendencies, I think as an offense coordinator, it's always going to be advantageous. And this is one of the ways, to me, that you can do that while still carrying and keeping your entire package. All right, so if you've never been a split back team, or you've never tried it, or you have tried it, either way, I think it's something, if you have the right personnel and you have two good tailbacks, I think it's something you should try. If they're both tough enough to block, I think you can be really balanced. If they're both good receivers, I think you can be really balanced. If one of them is a true tail and the other one is more of a blocker and he can't run perimeter runs, he's an inside runner, I think you'll still get yourself into some tendency-laden or tendency-based deals that the defense can figure out. But if they're both very similar players in a perfect world, and they're both tailbacks that can go to the perimeter, run inside, kick an edge, arc release and get to a backer, possibly ISO a backer inside, be a tailback that can be effective in the passing game, I think this set takes away some tendencies. I think it's a great way to live in a world that you want to live in without giving the defense as many things to look at. As always, I appreciate everything you guys do for Play Fast Football. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel. Turn the notifications on so you know every time I do something, whether it's live or every time a video comes out, you get the notification. As always, thumbs up, thumbs down to tell me whether you like the content or don't like the content so I know what content to do in the future. Leave a comment if you can, even if it's a question about doing a video. I try and do as many subscriber videos as I can possibly do. As long as I can see the comment on my end, I try to respond to them. And again, thanks for everything you do. Stay safe out there. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I'll catch you guys next time.